Hello. Welcome to the channel. Let's talk about the new Samsung Galaxy S23 models, including the Ultra, the S23 Plus, and the S23. In the following video, I will be talking about the official unveiling, and I will also summarize the reviews for the performance of the device, the camera of the device, the durability of the device, and how it performed against other phones. Before we start, I would like to give you a disclaimer about the video. The main purpose of the video is to summarize all the reviews that are out there. You will have to individually watch the reviews to get a better answer. Let's begin. At the official unveiling, the Samsung promised a better performance with the new phones because of the larger battery, the new OS, better cooling with the cooling chamber, and the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, promising faster NPU, GPU, and CPU performances. The screen brightness has also been increased to 1750 nits. For the cameras, though they have downgraded the front camera to 12 megapixel compared to the S22 models, the rear camera has gotten an upgrade to 200 megapixel in the Ultra models. They have doubled the image stabilization and they have introduced AI-driven nightography. Now the 4K videos can be shot at 60 FPS with the front and the rear camera, and the 8K videos can be shot at 30 FPS with the rear camera. They also gave examples of the movies shot with the S23 Ultra by the directors Ridley Scott and Na Jin. For the durability, the S23s now have Gorilla Glass Victus 2 and IP68 rating. The company is offering 4 OS updates and 5 years of security upgrades. And recycled materials is used in 12 components of the phone. Now talking about what the reviewers had to say about the new S23 models, I have divided all the reviews into performance, camera, and battery. I won't be including all the reviews that I have reviewed, but I will be including the top reviews that I found will be helpful for the listeners. Marcus Brownlee observed excellent battery life in the S23 with better Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 performance when compared with the OnePlus 11. He was able to run the Geek benchmarks to demonstrate those. Ella in her review talked about better GPU and cooling performance when compared with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but on the Geek benchmark, the S23 was still behind. She also commented on bigger speaker in the S23 with better bass, but stated that the S23 Ultra models should have rounded corners for better handling. GSM Arena commented on the heavier accented camera ring, louder sound, faster fingerprint scanner, and that the lowest refresh rate on the screen went down to 24 Hz rather than 1 Hz as claimed by Samsung. The battery life in the descending order was 126 hours for the Ultra, 111 hours for the S23 Plus, and 101 hours for S23 in their proprietary battery test. Tracking Tech from India commented that the S23 model was heavier and thicker than the S22 model, had lesser screen curvature which helped with gaming, and on the 2-feet drop test, the device did not sustain any functional or physical damage. In the battery drain test, Z-Tech Care and TechDroider found that the S23 Ultra lasted longer than the S22 Ultra despite the same battery size, but iPhone 14 Pro Max lasted longer than all the devices tested. Z-Tech Care also found that the S23 Ultra charged faster than the iPhone 14 Pro and the Pixel 7 Pro. For the camera, Mr. Who's the Boss was able to run a detailed test comparing the S23 Ultra with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and he found S23 Ultra as the winner at 7.5 versus iPhone Pro at 4.5. S23 Ultra took the lead in the selfie photo department, image stabilization, zoom, portrait image, night mode, and the fun bits, whereas the iPhone Pro Max led the way in macro photos, selfie videos, and the audio. Ella also tested the camera against the iPhone 14 Pro and found that the 200 megapixel camera sensor for the S23 Ultra had better photo details and the night photos were better as well thanks to the AI. The zoomed images were less sharper for the S23. She also observed that the image stabilization was improved from the S22 as claimed by Samsung, but was still not as good as the iPhone. SuperSaf also ran a detailed review between the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the S23 Ultra camera. He found images to be brighter with better noise cancellation even at 100x zoom thanks to the AI. But because of the AI, there was a shutter lag which did not enable him taking faster photos. The iPhone still had a lead in low light noise cancellation and showed natural colors in their photos. The foreground blur and the image stabilization was still better in the iPhone. Tom Rich was another reviewer who compared the S23 Ultra with the professional camera and iPhone 14 Pro Max. He found, unlike the iPhone, the S23 was able to nullify all the halos of light, had better zoom quality, and performed better than iPhone when the light was at a certain angle in low light conditions. He also observed against the professional camera, the S23 had better image processing and shadow exposure. He found iPhone to be better in low light conditions with no direct light. The images were less noisier in the iPhone, and the background blur was better with the professional camera. The reviews that I came across for the durability, PBK mixed the phone with the keys, coins, sand and gravel and did not find any scratches, but the front and the back did crack and drop from waist height. The camera ring did sustain some damage as well, but there was no damage to the camera. He also put the device underwater for 3 minutes without any functional damage. Jerry Rig Everything did a similar durability test by putting the phone underwater for 3 minutes and doing a 60-second heat test with no physical or functional damage. He was able to scratch the surfaces at 8 and 9 with the hardness kit and concluded that it's a rigid design. PBK was able to tear down the phone and found that the device has a strong backplate and good repairability score of 9 out of 10, and he found it easy to reassemble the device. There are a few reviews that are worth mentioning when comparing the S23 Ultra with other devices. ZTechCare ran it 1:1 with a 240 fps camera to determine the animation and found that S23 had better animation and faster app launch. But iPhone still took the lead with better Geekbench performance, faster boot, game launch, video rendering, browsing, and multitasking. GSM Arena and Marcus Brownlee commented on comparison with the OnePlus 11 phone and found the S23 was still ahead in the department of brightness as the OnePlus 11 Victus One glass protection, 108 hours of battery life, slower Geekbench performance, and no wireless charging. GSM Arena also ran the charging test with the 100-watt charger provided with the OnePlus 11 phone and found charging time of 22 minutes. The OnePlus 11 also has Wi-Fi 7 and an alert slider. TechSpert reviewed the S23 Ultra model with the Google Pixel 7 Pro and found the S23 was still ahead because of Victus One production on the Pixel 7, optical fingerprinting, one SIM card slot, lesser performance on the Geek benchmarks, 4K video, 50 megapixel camera, IMAX optical zoom, suboptimal gaming, softer sound, and shorter battery life. Although the Pixel 7 does offer 5 years of OS upgrades and the photos had much better natural colors. To sum it all up, the Samsung's claim of better performance, battery, and the AI when compared to the S22 seems to be true. For the performance, the reviewers did observe better gaming experience, better battery life, and better sound quality. For the camera, it's definitely better than the S22, but the AI can be optimized further for better low-light imagery, for closer to natural colors in the photos, and minimizing the shutter lag. The phone is definitely resistant to minor scratches and has good repairability. When compared to the other phones, iPhone 14 Pro Max still continues to be a gold standard because of better processor function and the camera performance. But this phone performs better than the OnePlus 11 and the Google Pixel 7 Pro. Thank you so much guys for watching. Please do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. I'll be coming up with more videos and I will welcome your comments. Thank you so much. Have a good one guys.